pagsisinungaling, 'di ba? Pang manipulate. Yan yung may mga moral turpitude, itong libel, mukhang isa nga yan sa mga crimes na...
Andito yung mga...
Brother!
Magandang tanghali, Attorney Glenn Chuang.
So nice to see both of you, ha?
Miss na kita, brother.
Yes, brother, I missed you.
We missed you.
Matagal-tagal din hindi tayo nagkasama dito, ah.
Oo nga eh.
Oo.
Yes.
Together with our queen.
Yes.
Queen Freddie Mercury.
I was talking about moral turpitude.
Yeah.
Kasi itong moral turpitude is the scariest thing for a lawyer. Kasi it can be
Agree.
applied to any violation that is done by a lawyer, and when it is applied to you, you're good as, you're done.
Good as dead.
Hindi ka ma-appoint sa public office, hindi ka mahihirapan kang ma-reinstate kung na-suspend or na-disbar ka.
Oo, kung moral turpitude.
Oo, di ba? At sa mga pulis, ganun din, mahihirapan silang makabalik sa kanilang trabaho pag sila ay nakasuhan ng isang krimen na mayroong moral turpitude.
Na-involve yung moral turpitude.
Oo, sa tingin ko itong libel ay mukhang mayroon tong moral turpitude no? Itong magsisinungaling ka to defame another person.
Yeah.
Especially kung paulit-ulit.
Oo nga, yung sinabihan ka na that's not true. And then you just
Keep on saying it.
under the pretense that you're exercising free speech or free press.
Di ba, alam naman natin yung constitutional right to free speech and free press is not unli. Hindi yun unli.
And the only two controls on free speech and press freedom is libel and slander. Di ba? Yun yung violate mo. You did not exercise your free speech or your freedom of the press properly.
Yes, because you are maligning another person. Malicious
with a lie.
Ito just as a matter of aside, since we're talking about Maria Ressa. The Nobel Peace Prize is awarded according to the criteria in the will of Alfred Nobel. The Peace Prize is awarded to the person who has done the most or the best work for the fraternity between nations, for the abolition or reduction of standing armies, and the holding and promotion of peace congresses.
So,
where does she fall in there?
What part of those things, which one did she facilitate?
Diba?
Kaya nga sabi ko nakapasok yata si Smartmatic doon sa Nobel Committee kasi may isang sinungaling na nakalusot.
True, diba?
May isang sinungaling na nakalusot. Kaya
May 5 lang sila doon sa selection
I mean,
committee
she
na
really
Smartmatic.
can protest if we call her a liar because the court found that she lied.
Yes.
that's a fact. Established fact yun.
Libeled somebody and
she is at least
continued to do so despite the demands.
Meron pa nga ibang isa pang kaso, the same guy, di ba?
Yeah, he withdrew it
Itong
on the
tao na to nag-withdraw
intercession.
na lang kasi napagod na lang sa...
Hindi, nag-intercede si Montuso.
So, there it is. The fact na hindi lang isang beses nangyari sa kanya, sa taong yon ang pinagkagagawa ni Maria Ressa, something should have, put a Nobel Peace Prize.
Kaya nga, sabi ko sa iyo, brother, nakapasok si Smartmatic doon yung pagtali ng votes siguro, doon nakayari si Smartmatic.
unless meron din naman kasing merit yung nakasuhan ka ng libel at na-guilty ka because that is proof that there is a government or society there that is prohibitive, that is ng mapang-api, di ba? O mapanikil ng
I think the Nobel Committee should have considered that fact na convicted ito in a court of law.
Yes.
That's assuming they went through the regular process where they get nominations and then they make evaluation.
They vetted properly.
But I get the feeling that this is a largely political decision.
Yes.
Kasi tingnan mo, Maria Ressa and Dimitri Murato, Russia and the Philippines. What is common between these two?
Well, Russia is one of the enemies of Rappler. Kasi ito, friends ito ni The irony is that, magkasama sila, Peace Prize winner silang dalawa. Siguro yung si Dimitri
I believe that it's political,
both countries are accused of being architects of disinformation.
Yes.
It's primarily social media talaga. So they're holding up two journalists who are who counter
supposedly fighting it.
Yes.
Supposedly the bearers of truth.
Kumbaga, it's all about fake news.
Pero hindi ba alam ng is the basic rule in a public discourse that the only way to counter falsity and lies is to keep everyone talking, such that in the plurality and the proliferation of information about a certain issue, we bump into the reality, the real thing, the fact, the truth. Kung ayaw mo dahil sinasabi ito ng DDS o sinasabi ito ni follower ito ni Duterte, you did not allow that to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
To that extent, ni-restrain mo yung exchange of ideas.
Yes. And that is the only way to fight falsity and lies.
Dapat they should inculcate a freer exchange of ideas.
Yes.
So that we will all arrive at the truth.
Yes.
Hindi i-restrict mo.
It is
Bigla ka na lang masususpend, hindi mo alam kung bakit. Kasi community standards.
Yung mga nag-i-establish sila yung arbiters of facts. Diba?
No, that cannot be done.
An assertion is not yet a fact.
Yes, that's correct.
Sometimes it's time-bound, di ba? May temporal nature yan. It could be true now while you're saying it, not true tomorrow.
Yes, that's correct.
It could be like,
it's relative.
Di ba? She's in labor. Tomorrow, nanganak na. So, hindi na siya in labor, di ba?
Sa philosophy of language, which is very closely related to philosophy of science, there is a statement there that says, science and language is not getting closer and closer to truth. Instead, truth, once you think you are so near it, just gets so bigger and bigger and more complex to you. So that by the time you recognize that, ito pala yung hinahanap namin ng matagal na, you suddenly realize, but this is one of only many truths. Now I am
suddenly.
Isa lang siya sa mas marami pa.
Therefore, there is no absolute truth.
Exactly. And ang approach nitong Rappler and consequently at the urgings of Maria Ressa is that truth is supposed to be tangible. It is black and white. If it is not that, it is something
false.
else. If you don't say that exactly and they build parameters na masyadong masikip na walang ibang kakasya, diba? Anything outside of that is false. But that is
that's
not
a wrong
the,
interpretation of
that is
the
wrong. Why?
truth.
The reality of the situation.
Hindi yan.
Ang science, philosophy of science tayo. Ang unang-unang basis ng science noon in the formation of its language, of its knowledge, is correspondence. That whatever you state corresponds to an actual thing that exists in the world. So that when I say there is a headphone on this table, it is true.
Yes, that's
there
correct.
Is in fact a headphone on the table. But when you start talking about abstract things like there is love in the world, look at the world and see if there's a love there walking around, saying hi to everyone.
What about a allegedly historical fact? So all of the research may point to something right now, but future research or even contemporary research might reveal a different facet of history that we had not seen. For example, classic case, Andres Bonifacio. Everybody believes that Andres Bonifacio is a victim of Emilio Aguinaldo, that he read about the French Revolution, that when he started Katipunan. It was based on the principles ascribed
French
to
Revolution.
the equality,
fraternity,
etc.
equality. Yes.
Si Robespierre.
Robespierre.
Correct. And a lot of mythology is woven around Bonifacio and about the evils of Emilio Aguinaldo. Now, most people cite this as though it was the gospel truth, the absolute be-all and end-all of that period in Philippine history.
And nothing else.
And nothing
about
else
Andres
can
Bonifacio.
fit into that theory. Unfortunately, that entire rhetoric was based on Manuel Quezon's assertions against Emilio Aguinaldo during the 1930s election.
Yes.
So far,
Which is,
1898.
So, hindi na natin alam kung alin doon ang totoo, alin ang hindi.
Exactly.
Because this was made in a campaign period.
Correct.
Later on na. At so much later.
They actually even drew out yung mga kapatid ni Bonifacio who he had not seen in a long time. And by this time, Bonifacio had been dead for over 30 years.
Dead
So the
man statue.
mythologizing not just began, but it was, it spread out to the point that today, people will not accept Emilio Aguinaldo as anything less than evil incarnate.
villain.
Because he killed the good Andres
guy,
Bonifacio. Buried in all that rhetoric is how much blood Bonifacio himself had on his hands. Diba? An inadequate military leader leading a charge led to several defeats
With bolos.
which were carnage. The cry of in San Juan, pinaglabanan, and all of that was so much bloodshed that the arrival of the Aguinaldo brothers was like, oh my gosh, you saved us. Because they actually knew how to fight
It's
battle.
a ray of sunshine.
So, where is the fact now? What are you going to fact check? If I say that, let me see, Bonifacio was executed with impunity by Emilio Aguinaldo, is that a fact? No, the context that is lacking there is how long Aguinaldo took the time to make the decision, because he didn't want to make that decision. He wanted to exile Bonifacio.
Not only that, ano ba yung mga crimes na ginawa ni Bonifacio? Did he deserve to be
Yan, isa pa yan, di ba?
to be stopped or to be punished?
Exactly.
Ganyan.
And so on.
Kaya,
So, how are you going to fact check that? They say they don't fact check opinions, but that's not
But
true.
every single
no, lahat naman ng sinasabi natin, pina-fact check nila eh. Oh, I can attest to that.
If you tag the name Bongbong Marcos in Facebook right now, your post will get taken down.
imagine that. That's not
No
even
assertion of any
that's
fact
not even
whatsoever.
an opinion
Actually,
yet.
Attorney Trixie, Attorney Amela,
Yes, sir.
going doon sa issue, about yung sinabi ninyo about Bonifacio and Aguinaldo, let's take a look at itong assertion nila on martial law.
Yeah.
And okay,
Dito
very
tayo
good.
sa
Let's
issue
do
ng
that.
martial law. Pasintabi po sa mga dumanas po ng kahirapan o pagmamalabis.
Sa mga taong yan.
Pasintabi po sa kay Brother Ahmed and all the rest.
There are different levels.
Oo.
Pero,
Ang sinasabi ko rito is that those crimes that were committed during martial law were also committed right up to today. Meron ding torture, meron ding
Those are crimes.
torture, rape, and killings. Yun nga, ang sa akin nga si Richard Santillan, he was tortured,
There you go,
he
yeah.
was murdered, no other than the Philippine National Police.
Yes.
So exactly kung anong nangyari nung martial law sa mga
Nangyayari
victims,
din siya.
still happen to this day. Ako mismo.
Without martial law.
Without martial law.
The funny thing there,
Kaya ang sinasabi ko, with or without martial law, these
These
crimes
things happen.
happened before and is continuing to happen now.
So
Now
actually,
ito.
that's a case of too much context.
Yeah. ito.
They seem to be complaining against martial law.
Yes.
And then in their narrative, the only legal thing in that narrative is martial law, because in the Constitution,
Correct.
it's
Yes.
allowed.
Oo.
Everything else is not, like torture is not
Yes.
allowed.
Yeah.
So, ito. Ang nangyari itong krimen sa kanila or pagmamalabis, then you're blaming President Marcos. But you have not proven that Marcos actually dictated that gawin mo ito kay Eta Rosales. Rapin mo na 3 beses si Eta
There you go.
Rosales.
Nexus. Walang
Rapin mo
nexus.
si Judy Tagiwalo ng 10 beses. Wala naman kayong proof na ganun.
That's right.
Now, it is not fair to blame President Marcos for the acts of people down below him.
That's right.
In the same way ako, tinorture si Richard, pinatay ng mga pulis. But you never hear me complain na si President Duterte ang pinagbibintangan ko. Because there is no such order. So it is not fair to accuse President Marcos or President Duterte kung ano mangyayari dun sa baba. Now, for those who have suffered, ang hahabulin mo ay yung mga gumawa. At yung mga opisyal na nag-cover up for them. Exactly what I'm doing in the case of Richard. Hinabol ko yung mga nag-torture, pumatar at ang mga conniving officials. But not of course the President because wala tayong patunay noon.
Bakit? Kasi ang pattern na sinusunod ng mga taong ito ay ang Aquino. Dahil wala
yung narrative nila.
They do not want to find out who killed Ninoy and punish him. So everyone just says, si Marcos kasalanan.
Yun nga. Tapos ito yung concept nila. By virtue of command responsibility. I-blame mo ang Pangulo. Now, itong mga, look at the spectrum. Ito yung mga offenders, yung perpetrators. The President is on the other end. Ang layo ng chain.
Yung correct, kailangan mo ng nexus.
I mean, you will skip the other senior officials, yung immediate superiors, para lang maturo mo kay Pangulo.
Para umabot.
Oo, para umabot. That's stretching the imagination too far.
Not only that.
And logic.
Yes. Ang chain of command responsibility should apply to the immediate superiors.
There you go.
Not the President because the President is so far away.
Commander-in-chief na yan
It is
siya.
not fair. Now, to blame President Marcos is one wrong thing. To blame the son, mas lalong...
Even worse.
It's even worse.
Mas malayo.
Mas malayo na. Kasi at that time, Bongbong Marcos was not a public official. He just happened to be the son of the President. Tapos, ididikit mo yung mga ginawa ng mga kriminal to the President na wala kang patunay. That's one wrong. Doble wrong. Kasi dinidikit mo rin sa anak na walang kasalanan.
Wala ka pa rin patunay na...
Tapos, eto, yung nanalo ng Nobel Peace Prize, yun ang dinidiin.
Yan yung gawain niya.
Yun ang dinidiin at dinidiin nila. Palaging, anak ng diktador, panahon ng martial law. Come on.
There's a clear lack of logic here. Pero Nobel Peace Prize.
Pero yun nga kasi ang
Smartmatic yan eh.
Yan nga kasi ang problema dahil these people would put in place of proof and transactional investigation of what is true and what is a fact. They want to put in its stead a narrative that they have repeated so much
again and again.
That it has become some kind of truth or
mantra.
Or
parang mantra na siya.
Na imbis na mag-imbestiga tayo ng mga katotohanan bawat sabihin ng tao, hindi. Lahat ng mga nagsasabi ng mga statements na hindi sang-ayon sa narrative na ito ay
fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news kayo.
Anong tawag dyan sa ganyan? Ang tawag dyan sa ganyan, di sinungaling.
Purveyor of lies and deceit.
Before we go into break, thank you kay Ma'am Clara Fernandez, Ramoncito Oliveros Ramoneda, and Hermie Basingel dito sa ating super chat. Sabi ni Hermie, pangkape ng ating tatlong magagaling na abogado.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, magbabalik ang tambayan. Oras natin, 12:33 ng tanghali.
Tambayan sa DWIZ. Patuloy na naglilingkod sa bayan. Mas todong pagbabalita. Mas todong pagseserbisyo publiko. Ito ang DWIZ 882. Mas todong lakas. Mas pinakikinggan ng buong bansa.
Palakasin ang resistensya para iwas-iwas sa sakit with proper diet and exercise.
Hi, I'm Lynn Cruz, a businesswoman and happy wife of Tirsa Cruz III. Raising my kids with the aim to Christian teachings is my joy. I got to know MX3 through my mom. Ni-research ko talagang mabuti ito. Since then, I always make sure I have it in my bag. Taking MX3 capsules with my healthy diet and workout, I'm able to cope well with life's challenges. With God by my side and MX3 in my life, I am prepared to face whatever the future brings.
Mahalagang paalala, ang MX3 capsule ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
DWIZ 882. maririnig saan man panig ng daigdig. Mag-livestream lamang sa www.dwiz882am.com o i-download ang official DWIZ 882 app sa Apple Store at sa Google Play Store. DWIZ 882, mapapakinggan worldwide. DWIZ Balita ngayon.
IATF nakatakdang maglabas ng guidelines para sa paggunita ng undas. Detalye ng ulat mula kay Patrol 17 Jopel Peleño.
Nakahandang maglabas ng guidelines ang IATF para sa darating na paggunita ng undas. Ayon kay Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque, ito'y upang mabigyan ng advance notice ang taong bayan para sa mga ipatutupad na protocol sa mismong araw ng undas. Layo nito, ani Roque, na maiwasang maging super spreader ang paggunita ng All Saints Day. Pahayag ng kalihim, posibleng masimulan ang pagtalakay sa usaping ito sa susunod na pagpupulong ng IATF. Matatandaan na noong nakaraang taon, ipinagbawal muna ang pagtungo ng publiko sa mga himlayan dahil na rin sa matinding epekto ng pandemya sa ating bansa. Ito si Patrol 17 Chopel Peleño nag-uulat para sa impilang may parulakas, DWIZ.
Mahigit 270,000 na italang lumabag sa health protocol at curfew mula nang ipatupad ang Alert Level 4 sa NCR. Ulat ni Patrol 9 J. Mark Dagala.
Patuloy ang panawagan ng Philippine National Police o PNP sa publiko na huwag ipagwalang bahala ang banta ng COVID-19. Ito ang inihayag ng PNP matapos makapagtala ng 274,231 bilang na mga lumabag sa quarantine restrictions sa ilalim ng Alert Level 4 with granular lockdown sa Metro Manila. Ayon sa PNP, nakabatay ito sa kanilang datos mula Setyembre 16 hanggang Oktubre 11 ng taong kasalukuyan. Pinakamarami ang lumabag sa hindi tamang pagsusuot ng face mask at face shield. Noong panahon na required pa ito sa paglabas ng tahanan, gayon din ang mass gathering. Marami rin sa mga lumabag sa curfew ay yung mga hindi naman apor o authorized persons outside of residence. Patrol 9 J. Mark Dagala, nagulat sa Impila Metodo Lakas, DWIZ.
Para sa impormasyon at mas marami pa mga balita, bisitahin kami sa aming website, DWIZ882am.com at sundan ang aming Twitter account at Facebook page, DWIZ882. Ako po si Jenny Valencia Burgos.
DWIZ Balita ngayon. DWIZ. Muli nating balikan tambayang sa DWIZ.
Pagkabalikan naman. Lumulun muna ako. Kasama pa rin sa impila na Attorney Glenn Chong.
Magandang tanghali po.
Attorney Osam, Ahmed Paglinahan.
Hello.
Ako po si Trixie Cruz Angeles. Nakakalulun ko lang ng candy ko. Namadali sorry. Kala ko tatlo yung news You were asking about Tito Frankie Shonil Jose.
Yes. He is a national artist for literature. I think. Yes. And he says that hindi totoo itong contextos allegedly surrounding Maria Ressa